I'd like to start off by thanking all those essential service workers who are continuing to keep everyone safe, healthy, and fed during this difficult time. Certainly thanks to our Emergency Task Force Director and the EEC team, our first responders, our police who are dealing with difficult issues in the community associated with crime and now have additional responsibilities related to the pandemic. Certainly our city staff, those enforcing bylaws, that's not a lot of fun. Communicating and maintaining community safety out to our citizens. So important at this time. We cannot be complacent. I'd like to thank those in our city who are supporting their neighbors and those who have compromised health systems so that they too can have services, food delivered, and the essentials of life. And I'd like to thank those in our city who are supporting our community organizations with donations of time and money, bringing our city together, making sure that we care for each other in the city of Lethbridge. I'd also like to thank our residents and our community for their continued patience in dealing with the many changes brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic. Every day it becomes clearer just how important it is to follow the public health messages. Stay home, self-isolate if you show any signs of symptoms, wash your hands, and keep at least 6 feet or 2 meters between yourself and others when carrying out essential errands. The holiday weekend will present an opportunity for you to do your bit and stay home. While you may want to observe your faith and family traditions during this holiday season, I urge everyone to celebrate these traditions with those in your own household. Many religious and faith organizations are offering virtual services to aid in helping their congregations stay home. We're lucky to have access to these types of technologies today where people can celebrate electronically and communicate electronically. Let's make sure we use those. While staying indoors or outside at a safe distance, there are some city programs helping you and your family to stay active and engaged. Both the Public Library and the Helen Schuler Nature Center are offering online programming to entertain and engage people of all abilities, ages, and audiences. The Nature Center has reimagined several hands-on programs that will be delivered in a safe and fun way that keeps physical distancing and isolation in check. The Lethbridge Public Library has been streaming daily with sing-alongs, story time, trivia, and more. There's also been enormous work completed on the social services front of this pandemic. There are several organizations working together across the city to come up with ways to support those feeling lonely at this time. One campaign recently launched, Wellness Check-ins, focuses on individuals who may feel disconnected, lonely, or isolated during the COVID-19 pandemic. And that's being coordinated by Volunteer Lethbridge with support from CMHA, that's Canadian Mental Health, Alberta South Region. There are verified volunteer community members who are paired with lonely community members to receive a friendly wellness check phone call on a regular basis. Volunteers are screened for criminal record checks and provided with basic training as well as information, resources, and referrals as appropriate to other organizations as needed. For information on those programs, please contact our city website, lethbridge.ca /COVID supports. We want to also thank those who keep sharing positive messages in our community. And if you see something worthwhile sharing, please use the hashtag BeWellYQL. It's important to maintain positivity and to communicate that through our city.
So we're still managing day-to-day service delivery of the essential services. Our city staff are also working hard to look at strategies to ensure that our community continues to receive those essential services and through this unprecedented time. Anticipating that we're returning to normal might be weeks, maybe months away based on some of the information that was shared yesterday from our Premier. But we are focusing on to ensure your city is run well, but also that we have the finances in place to help our community and our organization. Through the workforce planning, we're also making sure that we have the appropriate resources in the appropriate spots and they're deployed to support our efforts. In terms of some changes to service, transit, I'll just speak to that a little bit. This week saw our transit service, actually yesterday, our transit service went to a reserve a ride system for essential services or for essential travel. Yesterday we scheduled 336 trips for residents requiring that essential travel. This is a big change for riders. I know it's difficult and change is difficult, but I think everybody, if they could just use some patience, some understanding as we work to mobilize this new system. At this time, there's high call volumes requiring coming into the booking, and you might have to wait to get through, but just be patient, and there's a few things that you can do to help for these wait times. If you have general questions about the service, we're asking people to call 311 rather than calling the booking line, or visit the website because there's some information on there. Only call the booking line when you're ready to reserve your ride. If you're booking a future trip that is a few days or weeks away or recurring weekly trip, please use an online reservation request form when possible. These things will help us get our trips booked more efficiently. The other thing I was asked to relay as well is for people to have patience, even though you've booked a time and it might be at 10 o'clock, if you could be patient and give them up to maybe about 20 minutes. Again, there's some, they just have to, it's a new system, there's some things that we're going to have to trial through, and so we would just ask the community to have some patience. I do want to say a huge thank you to our transit staff. Over the past month, they've been very, very nimble and been able to adjust to the different demands of and what's been happening in our community. So I just wanted to make a shout out to that transit operation. They're really a true team, and I really appreciate that. I'm hearing that there were bookings that were being done into the wee hours of the night and into the morning. So that kind of effort is both inspiring and greatly appreciated during these difficult times. Transit changes implemented will allow us to maintain an important service that many residents rely on, while protecting the health and safety of our riders and our drivers. With respect to parks, we continue to provide information to residents on the use of our parks and pathways to encourage appropriate social distancing and discouraging any mass gatherings. You'll hear today from our Director of Emergency Management next on what some of the new closures are in our parks and why. Our staff have been putting up signage, we're helping educate residents on some new regulations, so please understand the rules, abide by them so that we can all continue to enjoy outdoor spaces. If you've been in our parks lately, you may have noticed some different things about our garbage cans. This week, having the lids propped open, that means that people don't have to touch the garbage cans to put something in them. If you've been out on a walk, you may have also seen that several of our pedestrian crossings are now automated. There are signs letting you know that you don't need to push the button. The walk light will turn automatically, but in places where we don't have that automation, we're asking pedestrians to please use their elbow rather than their hand to push that button. Again, all of these measures we're putting in place to eliminate touch surfaces so people can continue to safely enjoy outdoor spaces and going out in our community. We'll have some additional changes coming up next week. Things like implementing one-way travel around some of our lakes where it makes sense, there's loops, and in some of the off-leash areas to ensure there's the social and physical distancing. We'll provide that to you next week. Lastly, it's holiday, as Mayor Spearman said. We're coming upon Easter, a long weekend, and we know lots of people are working from home, kids are off school, schedules are a little off, so we just wanted to remind people that Easter does mean a few changes in some of the services to our city. In particular, those with a Friday pickup of blue or black cart will move to a Saturday pickup. Also, our 311 call center is closed both Friday and Monday, but of course our online services are always available 24/7. And we know everybody will have to forego some of the big family gatherings this weekend. I hope our residents, our staff will take the opportunity to enjoy a bit of downtime at home and so that we can stay safe and well. Thank you and have a happy Easter.
Yesterday, the City of Lethbridge, we worked with renewing our local state of emergency. And we've done that for an additional 90 days. We've had legislation from the province that allows us to renew for 90 days, so we have done that. Our goal though, and our hope is that we won't need this for 90 days. Should it be required, it will be in place. I also want to talk to you today a little bit about a couple of changes we've implemented. Of course, we're trying to, we're asking people to stay home. We want them to limit the gathering, so we've added a few more closures into the city. Some of those closures are our recreation amenities throughout the city, and these include our tennis courts, our pickleball courts, our basketball courts, our disc golf course, our BMX park, our mountain bike park, and our skating parks. These parks will be closed until further notice. Where we can, we're going to provide signs and lock these facilities up. We're asking the public, if this is not an enclosed facility, please don't go and use these facilities if it is not an enclosed or locked up facility. Again, we want to ensure this social distancing and eliminate all of our touch points. These are a couple of things that we have implemented since the last time we gave you guys an update. We will continue to monitor. We continue to work throughout the weekend and monitor things as they progress. Should anything change over the weekend, we'll certainly be getting that communication out, but we're not anticipating anything at this time. I just want to, again, I know everybody has spoke about this long weekend. It is a very significant weekend for many of us. Please stay home, stay safe, eliminate the group settings. I know many of us come from big families and we want to get together with them and celebrate this weekend. We're asking you, please do not do that, even in the confines of your own home. Stay with your immediate family, and let's all work to take care of each other and help eliminate the spread of COVID.